everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Fourtress of a podcast about movies and TV shows and video games and lots of pop culture nerd things. My name is Oscar. I'll be one of your hosts today, and with me, per usual, are two of your other hosts. We got Alex and Brian in the house.
Woohoo! What's up?
What's up, guys?
What up?
I always feel like I gotta do sirens every single time. I hate that first thing that comes to my mind, but I don't want to do it. It's cliche now.
Every
it's played
time.
out. I can't do it.
I feel like I do some kind of loud noise.
It's the way he announces it. I feel like I need to have a theme song when I walk out. Like I don't. All right, I don't want a theme
John
song
Cena
anymore.
theme.
It's over. I'm done.
Let's get ready to rumble.
I like it.
But yeah, how you guys been? I feel like all three of us are pretty damn tired, right?
We are not bringing the energy hard, but we are.
It may sound like I have a lot of energy, but inside I'm asleep.
We're running at 30% constantly all day, every day.
Got that dad battery right now.
Oh no.
So with that, we should just get into it while our energy is what it's at before it gets any worse. And hop into our first segment of the week.
Everything's fine. Everything's great.
News talk.
First things up. Surprise! Disney this morning hit us with a brand new Andor trailer.
Yeah.
And also within that trailer, they delayed the show.
Oh, what? Wait, when's it coming out?
Now it's coming out September 21st, I think, or something like
Like
that.
21st to 23rd, something like that.
Oh, that's not so
And
bad.
it was supposed to come out this month, like in the next couple of weeks. But I wonder if that's because they have so much shit coming out. Like She-Hulk's also coming out in a couple of weeks, so maybe they didn't want the overlap that like Miss Marvel and Obi-Wan had. Maybe
I'm pretty sure we complained about that, and maybe they heard us.
Yeah.
because,
They're listening.
I thought that was weird. I thought that was a weird choice.
when I saw that this morning, I was like, thank God.
Right.
They're clearly paying attention to the podcast, which we appreciate.
Love
And
to see it.
also, they're giving you a 3-episode premiere, which is probably to make up the time on their
That's a
schedule.
lot. That's a lot of episodes at one time. Like, how many episodes are going to be in this series?
Oh, I'm pretty sure this show has like
I think they said
12?
12, yeah, something like that, and it's the
yeah.
longest show they've had so
wow.
far, which is
Gee whiz.
it's a big one.
a little makes me a little nervous. That's a lot of show.
This trailer looked
yeah.
really good.
It does.
It did, man. This one got me excited.
I kind of keep forgetting that it's a TV show. It looks like a movie.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it stays that way.
Yeah.
That's why I'm nervous. I wonder if that's all footage from one episode, which
I
it
don't
tends
know.
to happen in TV.
You know what? I want to say it's not because there's so many different looks throughout. So many people
Yeah.
have different haircuts and beards and stuff. Because I forgot this whole first season takes place over the course of 1 year, and
Okay.
then the rumored
Oh.
second season, which they haven't confirmed, but it's pretty heavily rumored, will take place over the course of 4 years.
This is about nothing. This is about an era of a movie that was one sentence. This is crazy that they're building a whole anthology off of one sentence. It's the longest TV show we've had. Obi-Wan at least got story. They didn't tell none of it. Am I crazy?
No, but I think we found the clip for the week.
That was such a random spurt of fury. Like, why are you so
It does
mad?
make me really mad that the things that they pull out their ass when they do have so much like enriching. Not to say this is going to be a bad show by any means, but there's so much enriching story
That was so
that
funny.
can be explored that's not. And then the part that was like, you could go out without exploring this ever. And they're like, let's gonna make
Right.
15 hours of television about just that. And it's like, what? But then Obi-Wan gave me 6 episodes, which literally did nothing but show him fight Darth Vader one more time. What?
Right.
And then introduce a character that
I-
no one cares about. Okay, that's all I got. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go on a rant. It's just weird to me. I'm sure the show will be fun.
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah, I mean, choosing to make this one 12 episodes, yeah, it's
I
interesting.
think it's gonna be good though. I have high hopes. What's the Rogue One? That was really amazing. That was arguably one of the best
one
things.
so far.
The best things in the past couple decades of Star Wars. So
Yeah, definitely the best thing of new Star Wars wise, I would think. And I would
Yeah.
include the prequels in that. I would consider it one of the top. Like I think it's one of my
Yeah.
favorite Star Wars movies.
Oh,
It's up
hell
there.
yeah. Absolutely.
so I'm hoping that this is somewhat similar or close to that, and it seems like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks to be. It's got the grime and the grit from Rogue One, so yeah.
I think that's what we need. I think we need a good shift of what Star Wars feels like right now. We've hit like this weird space with Mandalorian and Obi-Wan that I think we need to get away from. So I hope they do that.
They have the same problem that Marvel has where it's like they need everything to fit in a certain universe, which is why they don't branch out as far. But at some point, it's like, but then you don't get the cool stories. You don't get a Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse because that doesn't fit in your universe or your
Right.
aesthetic or anything like that. So it's like I see their issue, but at the same time, it's like, uh,
I'm telling
and
you,
it could because it's like not an anthology series. They all have to connect in some way, but it's
the
still like,
sooner we get away from the Skywalker saga, the better. I think once we drop that and they can just get creative freedom, would be the best thing to happen to Star Wars in 40
mm,
years.
I think we have dropped it, right?
yeah, we'll see how it all moves
They're not doing
forward. But
anything related to Sky, or they said. I mean, I guess he's gonna be in Mandalorian, so
We still keep doing things around the timeline though, where it's like we go so much further in the
okay.
future, so much further behind. Where's the point where
we gotta get that High
lightsabers
Republic
exist,
show.
where Jedi actually exist? There's very little time where
Yeah,
Jedi exists in Star Wars that we know.
Right.
we'll be getting that though. Hopefully,
Right,
it's good.
right.
You know what? We won't be getting that in
Oh, Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh,
What a
the
segue.
next topic of news.
yeah. So yeah, Knights of the Old Republic, that remake that we were all super psyched for. Yeah, that shit ain't coming out.
Yep.
Mwah, mwah,
Asper Media has reported
mwah.
that they have been trying to make this. They realized they had to make it from the ground up because, of course, they did. This is an original Xbox game.
Oh, is that?
I don't
is that
know in what
they're-
world did they think they wouldn't have to do that.
Wait, but what about the assets, guys? Can we use any of the? We gotta make our own assets. What? Hold on a
Yeah,
second.
I don't know
guys.
what was the thought process behind that. What they were trying to archive from any of those old games. But yeah, they basically got to a point where they're spending too much money and not getting enough done. Investors are down their necks, and
Mm.
yeah, they don't know what to do with it. It's the classic developer nightmare of a game that's not coming to fruition quick enough for
Like,
the people.
I just want to know, like, what is happening?
What are they stuck on?
Like,
What's got them stuck?
yeah, like what could they possibly
Yeah.
not
At
be able
what
to figure
point
out?
can they just show us what they have so far?
That's what's scary.
Please.
Let
It might
us
not be
decide.
much.
Send it over to the fortressof.com and let us see where
We'll
what
critique
you,
it. We'll
let
let
us
you
see
know what
what
you
you
need to
should
work
do.
on.
You give us what you got, and we'll let you know if you should go on.
Important note: they
Right.
fired both their art director and their design director.
Oof.
Two
Oof.
huge roles.
See, that's
for-
something where it's like those things are already there. You're just upping them. Like, what more art? Like what direction do you need? It's
I
all
don't- there-
already there.
But there's not there's so those like I don't know. Those assets are
models,
so
the
old.
character
Those
models,
models are
yeah.
they have to start from scratch. Like
Yeah, like even though you know what the
no,
character,
but I mean, like design wise, like you have at least a base.
yeah,
it's
you know
like
the character looks
a
like, but it's
book.
not nearly.
It's like a book to a movie in a different extent.
Yeah.
Like the source material is there, but you have to completely craft brand new things.
Right.
Like
Right, so if you wanna
the
do it,
vision is almost.
I just wonder,
different.
like, what were they doing that was so terrible that they had fired them? You know,
That sucks.
That's a great question.
that's what I mean. Like, how like, were they just doing something completely different? Like, what were they doing?
They were probably copying and pasting, and they were just like, guys, this is not gonna work.
Did you see that trailer? This has 3 polygons. What are you doing?
Yeah, they've been working on this game for 3 years, which is a lot for a
Damn.
non-remake of a
Ooh.
game. A normal game studio
Damn.
taking 3 years is quite a long time. So to not even have
What was
gameplay to show
what
yet.
was the last game this company has made? Have they made any games?
I think they made a few games that no one really cares about, but they're known mostly for remastering games. So they were people that
Yeah.
put like Knights of the Old Republic on iOS and
Oh,
Switch.
right. Yeah.
As far as I heard, I think they were pretty good at it though.
Yeah, but-
they
but
they weren't
there's-
terrible.
Those reports, like if these people are making a brand new assets of games, it sounds like they haven't done that before. Like I don't know. I'm not surprised they're struggling, right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
You could be absolutely
I don't
correct.
know.
Who gave them the ball? Whose fault is this?
I mean, BioWare is who owned them, who owned the
BioWare,
rights. BioWare and Lucasfilm.
please, BioWare, please remake this game yourself.
They will not do that. They're on ice
Yeah,
themselves.
like what the hell are they? Oh wait, they're trying to do Dragon Age.
I was
That shit
saying
ain't coming
Dragon
out
Age 4
either.
was
Like,
supposed to come
what
out
the
this
fuck are
year,
they
I'm pretty
doing?
sure, and I haven't seen anything
They ain't
about that
doing
game.
shit.
So they're
You know,
also
maybe-
canned.
Maybe they should give it to
Oh.
Square Enix. They did a great job with Final Fantasy VII remake.
Square Enix got a lot on
Yeah,
their plate
right.
too. To be honest, they
That's
need to
fine.
hire some more
Yeah.
employees. Maybe they can
They
uptake
should do
them.
that.
Yeah,
Listen,
maybe they should just
Right?
buy.
Send your
Asper Media.
requests to thefortressof.com. We'll help sift through the resumes and get this game
Yeah.
made, guys.
Hell yeah.
Is that
We'll
our
do
is
it.
that our official website? What's our email address for all these people that are applying?
You can email us at thefortressof@gmail.com.
There you go, guys. Send
So
your
you
resumes.
we have to add the Gmail part. But yeah.
Gmail. Send your resumes over to Oscar.
We'll be waiting.
I'll call them Asper. They're Aspire Media. That's not how you spell Aspire.
Aspire. Oh, I thought it was Aspire.
That is, I would never thought that from the way that looks. That they need to work on
Interesting.
that. I don't care. They've been founded in 1996. Get better. Do better.
All right, last piece of news: the Avengers, the Kang Dynasty got a director. It's gonna be Destin Cretton, who did Shang-Chi, which I
Okay.
think he'll do a good job. Shang-Chi was good.
I like Shang-Chi.
You better get that choreo up, man. That choreo better be up to par. That's all I ask.
Well, that's usually like a different person, right? I mean, maybe he's in charge a little bit of what it looks like, but that's usually a
Right, I mean,
completely
like
different
he
person.
probably helps hire the choreographer and
Yeah,
has
yeah,
an
I'd imagine.
input on that. So get someone good.
You didn't like the choreography in Shang-Chi?
There
I
was
liked
good ones
half of
and there were
it.
bad ones. Yeah, the
Yeah.
fight scene on the bus was really good.
Yeah, I guess
Other
the
That's the
stuff
bus
best
is
one.
like
really
the
bad.
most noteworthy thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one on the scaffolding that was very reminiscent of a Jackie Chan movie, except
That was cool.
less practical. I didn't like that one as much.
Hmm.
I didn't like it as much. It was too dark, couldn't see it as much, and it looked more CG than everything else in that movie.
Yeah.
Fair.
And there's a big dragon in that movie.
Yeah, I was like, more than the dragon?
Yes.
Interesting. I like that movie though.
Yeah, me too.
I think the comedy and like for what a director has to do, I think he did a good job with like the actors and the comedy
Yeah.
and like the delivery. I loved all the characters in that movie, and
Mhm.
just like on the ground, the boots on the ground type of stuff was like great.
Mhm.
I felt it was one of the best feeling movies from Marvel to me.
Yeah.
Y'all think Aquafina's ever gonna come back?
Yes. I think so.
She got bullied off of Twitter recently
Ooh.
for blackfishing
Oh.
real bad. So everyone's mad at her over that.
Mm.
And instead of just apologizing, she decided to get real upset about it and then make this long post and then delete her Twitter. So she's going through it.
But also, we live
Okay.
in a world where Shuri is probably going to be Black Panther, so yeah, she'll be back. But yeah, Kang Dynasty. This movie we know nothing about. It's fucking 3 years away, but interesting that they're not bringing them Russo brothers back, who did the last two Avengers movies to great success. And Russo brothers have already said like their dream project for Marvel is a Secret Wars movie. Will they bring them back? Who knows? I don't know.
I hope they do. That'd be nice.
We'll find out. I mean, they did a good job. But yeah, all right. That is the news for the week, everyone. We made it through. Shall we now jump into our main marvelous topic of the week?
Let's jump in. Let's go.
But first, we're trapped in another fortress. This is a fortress that's
Oh boy.
it's pretty. It's got some cool animations throughout. It's very what's
Brown.
the movie? The Breakfast Clubby. It's very
Brown.
coming of age. What?
I was gonna say marvelous. Maybe that's on the nose.
Marvelous, pretty marvelous. Yeah,
Marvelously Brown.
we're a little late. Yeah, because we're in the fortress of
Miss
Miss
Marvel.
Marvel.
She's marvelous.
Miss
Come on.
Marvel.
Stands for Marvel, I think.
Yeah, so that show finally wrapped up, so we're gonna take a little bit of time and talk about it. We'll see how it ranks amongst the rest of this Disney Plus lineup. But overall, real quick before we get into spoilers, I like the show. There are elements of the show, there are episodes of the show that I love. There's a bit of a lull, primarily in episode 4. That's feel like they just try to shovel as much exposition as they could to you in about 15 minutes. That was probably the weakest for me. Other than that, I think she is fantastic as Kamala. I think all of the kids are so good. The family aspect of this show is one of the best things, and probably the best thing about this show that makes it work so well.
Yeah, totally agree with that.
Yeah, and yeah. So I by the end of it, by the last episode, it won me back because I was like, oh, I'm not sure. Episode 5 brought me back too, and then episode 6, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm good with it. I'm excited to see more of her.
Yeah, I really liked it. It was a fun little origin story. I don't know too much about this character, but it was really cool getting to see some representation on the screen as well. I think my favorite episode though was the first one. Like it was just really a really cool, interesting style, and they kind of really went off with a bang. I don't think they kept up that like same amazing energy, but the
No.
energy throughout was still like really good. I had a lot of fun watching it. It didn't really feel like a superhero show for a lot of it. It just felt like a great like coming of age, like comedy, like family comedy. It was really charming and really sweet and really funny and cute. And by the end, it just made me excited to see more of this character on the big screen.
I basically agree with both your sentiments. I think it's a super cute show, and I think cute's the best way I can describe it.
So
Because I don't want to say it was like an amazing show or anything like that. I don't think they did really crazy things, but I think that they kept up a good enough energy that I was entertained most of the time. Like Alex said, I think that first episode was the best. Whoever was editing that episode, give them a raise. They
They
deserve
killed
it.
it.
That
Yeah.
that Scott Pilgrim-esque. I love that kind of screen work that they do with that kind of stuff. It really had its
Yeah.
own personality at that point. And then I do think it got a little just generic towards the middle part.
It disappears after that episode.
Right. And that's kind of disappointing. But other than that, I do think the show is very good. It felt like I was watching like a Disney Channel show from back in the day, like in the early 2000s or something, with the
Mhm.
way that I felt
Yeah,
watching it.
yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah, in a good way. No, yeah, in a good way. It just gave
Yeah.
me that kind of nostalgia feeling of like being a kid again and watching this kind of stuff. And I thought that was super cool. So I enjoyed it. I am interested to see how she'll interact with some
Yeah.
of the other characters that'll be, in these Marvel movies.
With that, let's jump into spoilers. I guess since we're talking about how much we love the first episode, yeah, let's talk about that. I think her intro is so like that. It hooks me. That first episode was like, oh fuck yeah, this is cool. This is new. All the one of the best shots is when she's deciding what costume to be, and they're just walking
Oh
down the
yeah.
street, and all of the cool sketchy animations are on the walls behind them as they walk, and it's just a big long one shot. And I was like, damn, that's creative and so good. And they don't do it anymore after this
Yeah,
episode.
yeah. I was really excited for the whole series after that one episode. Just yeah, all the visual animation and stuff that they were doing. Like it didn't quite make a lot of sense until the very end. She's like drawing like some like plans on a
Mhm.
chalkboard. I kept waiting for there to be like a reason. Like, is she like a graphic artist? Is she like into like drawing or something? They don't really make that point come across, but I still loved like how the drawings were kind of coming to life and
She's a
stuff.
kid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They just want to
true.
make it that it's kid. She looks kiddie, so
It's a
good kid
it's a
She
stuff.
likes
kid
to
show.
doodle. Also, she can draw really well.
I was gonna say, not be an artist. Maybe you should consider this.
Yeah, I mean, talking about her, she carries this show. She's so funny. She's it's got the energy behind it as a kid. It's the same thing with like Tom Holland Spider-Man. They cast a kid. They cast a young person for the
True.
role. She's not 35 years
Yeah,
old.
she's like actually a high school student when she got cast, right? I
I think so.
that's what I heard.
I'm glad we're getting to the level where there's people are just getting good enough at acting that we don't have to do Tobey Maguire situations anymore. Where it's like, my name's Flash
Right.
Thompson, and I'm a senior bully, and it's like that dude is 38. That man
Yeah.
has male pattern baldness. What do you mean? There's no way that he can be a small child. So it's kind of cool to
Yeah.
see situations like this with her. And apparently they really loved her because she was such a huge fan of Miss Marvel specifically, which I thought
Right.
was super cool. That she was
Mm.
actually so into Miss Marvel that she would make fake accounts on like Reddit and stuff, and then shit
Oh,
talk people that were talking
Oh, I did. Yeah.
wrongly about Miss Marvel, like saying like the wrong information or something. 'Cause she's like, I know everything
interesting.
there is to know about this
Wow.
Yeah.
character.
That's really cool.
That's a very Gen Z thing to do, I feel.
I mean, shit posting is just normal now. That's part of your brand.
I saw an interview where she like dressed up as Miss Marvel for like a Halloween or some kind of event. So it's cool that the first episode she's dressing up as Captain Marvel.
Right.
I
Yeah.
was a little bit confused on what was like my reality and what I was watching. I was just like, didn't I just read this something about this? It was a little bit
That's funny.
weird with all the people named Marvel, but it was
Yeah.
cool.
Which let's talk about. Man, Avengers Con looks like the coolest shit in the world.
Right?
Like, how much money did Marvel put into this fake convention? And when is it going to be a real thing?
I'm surprised it's not yet, to be honest.
Coming to
AvengerCon
Like,
sounds
Disneyland
Cretton-
near
like
you.
something to be in San Diego,
Right.
California.
Yeah. Also, in that first episode, it felt the most teeny. Besides, except the next one would be the finale, which we'll talk about. Those two felt the most teenage shit because they're in a high school and
Yeah.
yada yada yada.
Yeah.
But I did like the elements in that first one, at that con where, or no, getting to the con, the whole breaking down a plan, and then nothing goes to plan
Oh,
the
yeah.
whole way there, and like she has this fantasy where they jump off a bridge onto a bus, and like I thought that whole sequence was very funny.
That was great.
I don't know. There's something about that comedic timing that I think is so great. It reminds me of that Wolf of Wall Street scene where he thinks he's driving his car so well that it turns out he's just so
Yes.
fucked up on Quaaludes that he can't drive anywhere at all. It gave me that same
Yeah.
vibe. Just like, yeah, man, I'm doing this. You're not about to
Right.
hit a 360 off a BMX bike off the bridge onto a local bus.
Even Bruno's like, did we just jump off a bridge?
Like, no, reality, we're chasing the bus the whole time. But you talked about those
Right.
being the most teen-like episodes. Coincidentally, I think that makes them my favorite. I think the show does its best
Yeah.
when it knows
Mhm.
what it is.
Mhm.
And I think some of those parts in the
Mhm.
middle is where it gets a little low for me, only because it feels, I don't want to
Okay.
say generic, but it's kind of the word that I'm looking for when it comes down to it. Those are the most things that feel like every Disney movie that ever has an action sequence. It goes like that. You know what I mean? Like National Treasure.
Mhm.
Oh, we're running away from the bad guys. Look at him go. He's jumping off the top of the ropes. Crazy. Like,
Which is what sucks for me, that's the part that I like the least, while still enjoying it because that's the part that's the most that has the most culture in it,
Right.
and it's so interesting to
Mhm.
see, and it's just disappointing that that was the element, not based on the location, but just, like, the action sequences, the amount of exposition they give you, or just didn't it just fell a little flat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I liked when they were just like not super in your face about how they were just the whole family and culture. It was just like everything was in the background, and they were like going back and forth between their different languages and calling each other pet names and
Mhm.
not having to like explain anything, and you're just like along for the ride. And
Yeah.
that was just super super great. I love when shows like don't like spoon feed you all the information and stuff.
It felt
Right.
organic. It
Yeah,
felt like
yeah,
we're actually
exactly.
watching a
Yeah.
real like family of the culture, as opposed to being like, "Hello, my name is Pakistani man number one, and I am Pakistani." And it's like, "Oh, okay,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
that's fine." Like they actually had their own, like even the family had their own like, I don't know, personalities and things. Like it wasn't so one note when it definitely could have
Right,
easily
right.
been. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of good representation. I feel like I'd love to. I wonder what a Middle Eastern or Pakistan person feels about the show, but I feel like
Yeah.
they did a good job.
Marvel's been giving us a lot of culture lately between this and Moon Knight as of late.
Mm.
They've been trying to work that
And
in.
I know the nerds are pissed about it. A lot of brown culture.
I'm sure, but fucking shut up. Who cares, bro?
Nerds be mad always.
Nerds be
But
mad about not being white.
yeah, I know. Speaking of culture, though, I do one of the things that we talked about that works in this is the family aspect. And man, her mom and dad, but mainly her dad, MVP. He is so fucking good in this show, dude. Like, ugh, he's just the both of them. They're just so damn good and
They're
realistic.
pretty great.
Like one of the first scenes where I was like, oh damn, is when they try to surprise her and give her the Hulk costume to match her dad, and I'm like, that is the sweetest thing in the world, but so off the
It's
mark
such a
for a
dad thing to
child.
try,
Like,
like, to be
yeah,
outgoing enough to wanna get into your child's stuff that they like, but then not being
yeah.
able to know anything about it.
It's
Yeah.
just like they tried so hard, and it's just like like you feel bad when she's like, "That's completely wrong," but it's like you understand both sides of it, and then oh, it's such a well done scene.
Right. But it's something like a lot of, I don't know, at least for me as someone with colored parents, it's just one of those things that you definitely do go through. A lot of that just
Yeah.
feels so right to me, even though that like that's not specifically my culture. But like the dad that like he's never trying to be funny, but he always manages to be so hilarious. Like that's like such a tropey dad thing where it's like he's totally not making a joke, but it's just so goofy and off the wall the things that he does. It's just like,
That's great.
Dad,
Right.
what? And he hits that on the nail, that actor, so well every single
He
time, and I
does.
love that.
He does. Yeah, and how the mom's more hard ass
Yep.
between them, the two of
Mom
them.
not
You
letting you
know.
do
Yeah.
anything? Oh, went through that
Yeah.
a long time during my
Yeah,
life
that
where
that
mom
that
not letting
was
me.
that was pretty spot on.
And very much the whole big brother gets to do whatever he wants, but sister, because she's the girl, don't get to do shit.
Right, right, right.
Yeah. So speaking of she gets to go to Avengers Con. Let's talk about the the final destination ass scene where that girl
Yeah,
should have
She
died.
almost killed her opposition.
what was the thing that caused all that commotion?
Kamala.
She sets off Ant-Man's head, and the Ant-Man head statue
Oh,
falls
right.
off. And it's just this weird final destination sequence
Yeah.
of events until the girl gets clocked at like Mach speed with a big Thor hammer, like a fucking Scooby Doo cartoon. And I was like, that was a little goofy. She should have died.
Listen, Spider-Man didn't take care of his Flash Thompson quick enough, so she was like, "First episode, we're taking this girl out. She got to get out of here."
It was so funny.
Can we talk about how she gets her powers? I know she gets it in this show from like this mystical bracelet, which comes into like the middle of the show. It's like lots of exposition and stuff. I still have a couple questions about this damn bracelet, but
I think a lot of people
Yeah.
do.
yeah, we'll probably figure that out later and maybe never. But I really want to know what you guys think, or if you guys know anything about this character in other contexts. Like her powers are a little bit different in this show than they have been in
Mhm.
other comics and in that recent video game,
Yes.
right?
And her acquisition, I think, is a little different as well. How she gets them.
Right. Because it originally, and we'll talk about this more in the very end, because they've definitely changed her character in the sense that in the comics she is what is known as an inhuman, and the inhumans were only came into existence basically because Marvel X-Men was kind of running dry and they needed something else, so they basically
Ah,
gave new X-Men and called them inhumans. And inhumans, they get their powers in the comics through what is called a Terrigen mist, And like when you breathe in this mist, if you are an Inhuman, you'll kind of go into this cocoon and then burst and get powers. If you're not, you fucking die.
Wow.
You turn to stone and you die. Like that's how it goes. It's terrible.
That
But
sounds
so
terrible.
she's an Inhuman, obviously, because now they have the rights to the X-Men and mutants. It looks like she's no longer an Inhuman, which is I think makes total sense because apparently the creators of her specifically also said like the only reason they made her an Inhuman was because Marvel was getting sick of the mutants. So
Hmm.
they originally wanted her to be a mutant anyway. So it's kind of perfect in this way,
Interesting.
whatever. But it's just weird considering they just showed Inhumans in that Doctor Strange movie. So
Right,
it's
yeah,
weird that
with
Marvel's like,
m-
yeah,
the voice
with
guy.
the yeah, Black Bolt, yeah.
Your continuity's
So
getting a
weird,
little rough here.
whatever.
So how
Yeah.
about I just want to dive in because I'm very curious and I didn't do enough research about her origins and the comics and stuff. I think her first comic appearance was like way back in the day in like the 70s or 80s. And she wasn't always Pakistani, right?
No, oh yeah. Okay, so Miss Marvel's old. Kamala is new. Miss Marvel,
Got you.
yeah, Miss Marvel. I don't know exactly her origin because it's changed so many times, but she used to have that weird black suit leotard look
Oh.
and was with the X-Men. And
Hmm.
this is kind of a tangent, but Rogue from the X-Men gets her powers basically because she touches Miss Marvel to a degree where she takes all of her powers, which is why Rogue can fly and do all this shit. And she puts Miss Marvel in a
Oh.
fucking coma.
Well, damn.
That
Holy
sounds like some
shit.
rogue behavior for sure.
I don't know how she wakes up, but it doesn't matter because they change it all the time.
Right.
But then that's when they introduced Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel as opposed to Miss Marvel and gave her a different origin
Yeah.
without the X-Men, probably because of the whole Fox stuff and Marvel wanting to distance themselves from that stuff.
Huh.
Yeah, and then Kamala was within probably
2010s,
the past
something like that.
within the past decade, something like that.
Hmm.
And she doesn't in the comics has nothing to do with Miss Marvel's powers. She is basically Mr. Fantastic.
With Captain, she doesn't have anything to do with Captain Marvel's powers.
Captain Marvel's powers, like it's nothing cosmic in the comic
Right.
books about her. She's just
stretchy.
powers.
And that's what she is like in that Avengers video game, right? Where you play as her in the
Yes.
single player. Yeah, that's cool. When this first came out, I thought that her first appearance ever was with the video game. I thought the video game made a brand new character.
Oh no, they ain't that creative.
But it did give that vibe with the way they did show her. But yeah, no,
I gave them a lot of props for doing that, but I was so wrong.
No, that's pretty funny.
I mean, they did really well with her in the video game. I will
Yeah,
say she's the heart and soul of that game. It's
Honestly,
great. Yeah, and so I can understand why Marvel didn't want to give her just straight up stretchy powers, which we'll talk about. Because in this episode, that I was sold as soon as they gave her a stretchy hand. I was like, I don't care that it's a cosmic weird stretchy hand. They gave her a fucking stretchy hand. That's all I needed. That's
Yeah,
there
you
go.
got to do a little bit of both, maybe.
They've gotten to a weird point here with continuity right now because they're catching up to a lot of the newer comics pretty quickly. And they're learning that a lot of that stuff's pretty similar to some of their older stuff, and now they're mushing them together
Right.
weirdly.
Just blend it all like a big soup.
And I get it because you got the Fantastic Four coming, so it's like they gotta figure out a way
Right.
to differentiate her. Also, if she's Miss Marvel, she should be, I guess, somewhat similar to Captain Marvel. So give her some weird cosmic stuff. But as far as the show with this bracelet, to me, by the end of it, it seemed like the bracelet kind of just unlocked her
Mhm.
powers,
Her hidden potential.
basically. But I don't think she needs the bracelet anymore to use them, though, is how I
That's
saw
what it
it.
Oh,
seems like, yeah.
interesting.
Based on some of that exposition that I slept through.
Yeah. Especially by the end of it where he's like, you're a mutant. To
Right.
me, that's like, she should have those powers without that bracelet. So I think, yeah, she's fine.
So she's basically a wizard, and the bracelet is her staff.
Basically, she's a genie. They go to like
Hey.
that is one thing I will say. Like, what not bother me, it's just the amount of exposition and terms they go through, and just like in a second, where it's like she's a djinn, she's part of the noir. Then you have the clandestine of the bad people, and they want to get to the veil,
That was
to
a
the
lot.
dimension. I was like, what is what? The fuck? This is all just generic
That's my
gobbledygook of the
issue.
same shit.
Yeah.
It's just garbage that is made to make you be like, so you can like throw it away real fast. I'm like, okay, that explains that. Next movement. Now you know the bad guys are bad guys. The good guys
Right.
are the good
And
guys.
and
It's
the bad guys just want to be bad and take over their world into ours, and that would be bad
like,
because
I'm
it
pretty
has
sure
to
I
be
watched a
bad.
Brendan
Oh.
Fraser movie that had this in there. Like, what is going on here? Like, I don't. Who cares?
Yeah, like that was definitely the weakest element are those villains. Not just also just like in their look. Like they look so
They were just some
generically
dudes.
pedestrian.
They didn't even have like a cool outfits that all matched or anything. It was
No!
just some guys.
They had a couple like gadgety thing. They had like a cool toys that there was like a whip
I don't know
and
if
like
cool's the right word. He had like
spear
a
Look at
weird
me,
hammer.
my name's
mace.
Hammerman. I got that.
Some dude turned his belt into a whip, and I was just like, "This is
That's pretty useful, I guess. You can hold your pants up and then whip somebody.
And then your pants fall down once you do that. I don't know.
guess
Maybe they
so.
could add some like visual effects to some of those weapons or something to make them cool, or
It
make
was
them
just
tell you about it.
Yeah, there should have been some kind of fantastical power something going on because they were just normal people.
We didn't even get to see what their dimension looked like.
Right.
So I'm like, I have no idea.
We saw it
like,
in that diagram that those red people, they had that diagram on lock. They're like, oh, I'm glad you asked. Let me pull up this fucking
Right.
diagram we got right here in the hallway. And here's a parallel version of your city. It just looks glowier.
As soon as that homeboy showed up and told her all this shit, I was like, he's gonna die in 15
Absolutely.
seconds. And he does.
It was
And he
so
fucking
obvious.
does.
He stayed alive for a lot longer than I thought.
He didn't make it at the end of the episode, though.
They did 2 red herrings where they're like, he's like, go, I'll catch up. And it's like, he's not going to catch up. And then he catches up. And you're like, oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. That's nice. And then he gets killed the lamest way afterwards. And it's like,
And-
okay. This man survived fighting 18 people, but then one woman that looks like she's like, mid 40s or something. Like,
Yeah.
she takes you out with a knife. Like, come on, Mara.
Yeah, that whole episode was definitely the weakest to me. That fight scene through the streets of Karachi was fine. I don't know. It was missing some element to it that I can't figure
that
out.
CG was so atrociously bad that I could not get over it.
Yeah,
Like we're in this really
yeah.
weird space where it's like CG has gotten so good, but now it can still be so bad somehow. Like sometimes things look worse than they did in 2005, and then sometimes it looks like real life, and it scares me. But there's never like an in between anymore, and that really.
I think it's because
frustrates me.
our cameras and our our people look so lifelike and real. Like there's so many pixels and so much high definition in what we're actually shooting. So if your visual effects aren't like top of the
Top-notch.
game, like
Yeah.
it's not gonna.
Right.
It's
we
not
we
gonna
can get
look-
away with it in 480p. We can't get away with it in
Right,
4K
right.
now.
Exactly.
You look back at Jurassic Park and those effects hold up because
Yeah.
because of a lot of reasons, but they also because the people don't look as fucking polished as what you
Yeah,
watch
right.
on TV now.
There's a reason why like I prefer to watch Lord of the Rings like on DVD because if you up it to HD and like 4K and they do all this shit, it's like you start
No.
to see the faults in the CG because it's 20,
The lighting will be
25
off.
years old at this point.
Right, like even at 24 frames where it should be a little bit easier, it's still the interpolation gets weird. And that was the issue with
Yeah.
like some of those effects is they would use a super terrible motion blur whenever they had
Oh, that
someone
was
fall to the
awful.
ground and like get pushed super far, and then they would like speed it
Yeah.
up weirdly. So then it was just like, so this person gets punched, like it's a normal punch, it's not a super powered punch, and then he'll just fly to the wall super fast, and then it'll be so much
Yeah.
motion blur you'll get sick from it. And it was just like, why did you do that?
There's that
Interesting.
scene where Kamran gets tackled off that balcony to the ground.
Yes.
That is fucking terrible.
And for some reason, it's only 8 frames out of the 24 frames. It happens so quickly, but it looks so awful that I just had to rewind it a couple times and be like, they really put
Wow.
that in post, and was like, perfect.
Is that the last episode?
It was like the second episode that happened.
No, I think that was probably the third one at the wedding fight.
Oh,
Maybe.
yeah,
It was the first time that I was like, oof.
That wedding scene was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yes,
lighting
the
effect.
Bollywood, the whole dance
the
was
dance
great.
mob, flash mob, that was amazing.
I loved all of that. Yeah, it was great. Even Bruno was getting in there.
I was kind of mad that Bruno had a spotlight though. Like he's just the sister's friend. Like you're lucky to be invited. Like you don't need to be in the
I
front.
would imagine
You do
they
not need to be in
choreographed
the
that.
front of this dance right now. I get you're a supporting character, but this is not about you right now.
Look, I saw it as Bruno's basically their third child because one, does Bruno
Have a
have
home?
an adult?
I don't think he has parents.
Like does he work, run, and live above this fucking Quickie Mart thing?
That apartment exploded and no one asked about his parents.
Like I know he says that he lost his parents when he was young, but like he can't live
I was gonna
alone.
say, that's
That makes no
illegal.
sense.
I didn't know they even talked about it. I thought it was just you know what? I thought it was just another like 90s TV show that we watched where you never see their parents.
That was like the running joke in Degrassi with Drake, because you never saw Drake's parents. They're supposed to be super rich and stuff. Whenever anyone would go over his house,
Right.
it'd be empty. And it's like, I don't think you have parents. I think his parents are
Right.
dead in the closet or something. What's going on here?
Oh man.
Yeah, it's like you don't have a grandma, like somebody to take care of you, Bruno.
That's funny.
What's going on at your house, man? Are you paying the bills? Who pays the bills?
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
It's
but I
it's
will
rough.
say I really liked Bruno as a character. I thought he was a good best friend. Funny enough, I think I talked to Brian about this. He was almost up for the role as Peter Parker, and I think he looks to
Whoa.
me like a better Peter Parker than Tom Holland's Peter
Man,
Parker.
I don't know if I would
I
have
don't
liked him as
know.
a
Like just
whole.
I
like
don't know.
look
Yes,
wise,
I
I
get what
think
you're
Tom
talking
Uh,
about.
Tom Holland's too
Yeah,
pretty. He's too
I get
pretty.
that for sure.
Tom Holland's so fucking good though. I don't know. I can't
He
unsee him.
is.
That's
It's
really
because he's got
interesting
that
though.
Hollywood hair though.
That's true.
Bruno doesn't have Hollywood hair
He
yet,
Mm,
he has
so
mm.
Disney Channel
he looks
hair.
like a normal child.
Give him another year.
He's got the dude from
Yeah.
iCarly hair, just a normal ass white kid hair. What's that kid's name? Frankie? I don't know.
Oh yeah, something.
I don't know. But that wedding scene, it kind of blew my mind that Cameron's whole family was there to kill a child at this wedding and her whole goddamn family. They're like, yeah, we're just gonna kill everyone here. What the
Yeah,
hell?
everyone was kind of like, "Yo, bro, that's a little far."
Hey, they want
That
him to
was
go home.
nuts.
They're old as hell.
That was
They've
nuts.
been walking around trying to go home for what, 2,000 years or maybe 200 years. A long
Something
time.
like that.
They'll do anything.
They were ready to do anything, include kill children.
I don't know why they're so eager to go home to. Like, do they have family there? Like, what's up? It's just glowy. It's not that cool.
Right? You're a god here. Wouldn't you want that more?
I don't-
If you're
I
that
don't know,
evil.
man. Sometimes you get homesick. It happens.
I was just hoping they would explain like
Like
that one
anything?
like the one flashback the one flashback episode, which I actually enjoyed. I get it was like a lot of exposition or whatever, but it was cool like seeing her, what is it, her grandmother who's the
yes.
a part of that
Aisha?
clandestine people, but she falls in love with a human and then gives birth to her mother. That whole story was super super cute, and the scene where she was like talking to the evil clandestine person in the woods or just outside the village or whatever, and she's like, "You need to like get your shit together. We're fucking going. Like get
Right.
your bracelet. We're about to bounce." And I don't know, just the pain in her eyes where she was like, like I got a good thing going here. Like I don't want to mess this up. I'm gonna lie and say that I gotta get it,
Right.
and I'll meet you guys or something. I was like, wow. She
Like-
can't just level with her and be like, why don't you go find like a human and you can be
Right.
happy too. Like it's not so
Right.
bad here.
Like that whole episode started off, I was like, oh, I don't know how this is gonna work out, this flashback. But by the end, when the whole Kamala time travel thing, and it's been
was pretty
her
emotional.
this whole time, I was in tears by the end of this with the whole just the lineage of her grandma, her ma to her, and then Aisha, her great grandma. Like that whole all of that worked for me so well by the end of it.
Oh yeah, she's the great grandma, right?
I
keep
kind of wish
messing
they
that
had
up.
paced it differently though. I don't know if they should have made a whole episode towards it. Like maybe if they'd done it like as it reveals throughout the show, and then at that maybe that last point right there would be the point where Kamala actually goes there and then sees that could have hit episode 4 or 5, and I think that would have been better. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was a lot to stomach and one episode, and it was a week to week show at this point. I watched it week
Right.
to week, and that was one of the rougher
Yeah.
weeks for me. So I was like, well, that's what I got for this week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I see what you mean. I kind of notoriously hate flashback episodes because it's for small shows. It feels like a forced filler type of episode.
Especially as the penultimate episode. Like those are the ones that are usually like the stakes are at their highest before the finale, and then they chose to do this instead. I was like, oh.
To hit the brakes that hard was a
Yeah.
choice. It was a choice that was made.
Yeah, but I kind of saw the whole paradox coming of her giving her grandmother the stars to lead the way, and then
Mm-hmm.
inevitably like saving her family. I kind of when they started off with that episode and she was like in the past, I was like, oh, she's gonna probably be the person to set this thing in motion and whatnot, which I thought was kind of cool. I think doesn't the Flash have a similar origin story
Yeah.
where he gives himself like the lightning strike that gives him powers? I love paradoxes. I think they're super cool.
Yeah, no.
Harry Potter's got a paradox in there.
Yeah. I thought this one worked out really well, and I thought by the end of it, when she gets the picture from a dying Aisha, then she then gives to her grandmother, whom she just saw as a child and helped
That was
save
pretty
her.
real.
Like all of that coming together, and then
That was dope.
her and her mom knowing that she's Miss Marvel. I was like that worked on me by the end of it.
Oh, that reminds me. One of the things that I actually disagree with, I don't know if it's a problem or not. When she tells her family that she is the superhero, that she's Miss Marvel and she has to go and save the day and stuff,
Mhm.
fully support that. That's great. But her parents like switched so quick from like grounding her, especially
Right.
the mom, like grounding her and not letting her do anything, to instantly like, oh, you're a superhero. Like, all right, you go ahead. If you want to go to if you want to go to Comic-Con, like you go ahead and do that. Like you're a fucking
Yeah.
superhero. We trust you. She said that. She's like, we trust you. I'm like, since when do you trust her though? Like,
At first she can do nothing, and now she can go out and fight crime.
what happened?
My mom would never let me fight crime. It doesn't matter if I'm
Right.
Superman himself.
Right. She's 15 years old.
I
Yeah.
think maybe I just got jealous because at first I was relating to her. Like, yeah, she's getting grounded all the time. Like, I see you. And then she's getting all this trust. I'm like, what? Where? When?
Yeah. It did. Yeah, that did move pretty quickly. Yeah.
I guess because they all like bonded in Pakistan. But
Mhm.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
She did talk to her relatives and stuff. Her mother did, and maybe that like eased her mind a little bit. Where it's like you gotta let her do what she does.
Right.
It's like, I guess.
Because you learn that her mom was a pretty rebellious child as well, and she loves Bon Jovi, which is very funny, and yada yada. And she reconciles with her own mother, so but
I guess
it is a
so.
lot.
I guess
Her
so.
dad's always been chill, I feel though.
Right. He just wanted to be the Hawk with his little daughter.
Yeah. But I guess we might go back, but that kind of brings us to the finale, which the two biggest things in that worked for me. One, her suit looks fucking great. It looks like a superhero suit.
Did her parents make that for her?
Her mom made that shit, dude.
Like she did a really good
Because
job.
what does she do for work?
She
needs to
stepped
do
up
that.
from that Hulk ass costume.
Right. You phoned that one in, Grandma. Her mom.
But the element between that, her mom makes the suit, and then her dad gives her name. The two of those things, like that, it got me in tears, dude. Like I just love that's how she's created between her parents, and like, oh, that scene with her dad on the balcony where he tells her Kamala means Marvel, and she looks at him, she's like, I'm named after Carol Danvers. Why have I just now known about this?
This just made my day.
Yeah, no, like that, all of that, again, back to the family dynamic, all that shit worked for me. I love her relationship with her brother,
super
how
sweet.
they don't like hate each other all the time as you typically see.
Yeah, their relationship is
Usually
so
if you
cool.
have any kind of sibling character, they have to be solely mean to you all the time. It has
Right.
to always just be conflict, which is such a boring trope at this point. Because some people actually do love their siblings. Like it's crazy.
Right.
Especially when there's that big of an age gap too. So it's like I feel like that works as well. So that was nice.
Yeah.
The family stuff is what was the best part about this show. I think that's just that's a place where Disney's just very good. They're very good at writing heartfelt stuff. And I think allowing this to be a little bit more children oriented makes it a little bit better for that, because you can get that kind of like Pixar vibe to it of like, this is about family at the end, which is, we haven't necessarily got to that point yet, but I'm wondering how this is going to fit in the actual Marvel universe, because it's not quite like that. One thing I did notice in this show is nobody had guns that shot bullets. No one was getting shot at ever.
That is not true. At the last episode, you're right until the last episode.
Oh yeah, they unload on her.
Oh yeah,
that crazy white lady
pulls out a
pulls
normal
out a pistol and was
9mm.
like, "Fuck this shit," and she starts shooting at the kids.
They're shooting at two 15-year-olds.
Listen, me and my wife were pissed. We were like, "How has this happened?" I think my wife Bambi was more frustrated. She's like, "I have had it with this show. I can't believe." I'm like, "Well, she like this lady's crazy. Like she hates herself. She hates her life, and she doesn't like her boss. So she's like, fuck it. I'm gonna kill these kids." And she's like, "But that's crazy. How could Disney try to kill kids?"
That is true. Because at first they had like sound blasters, even she did, and then next thing you know, they just pull out gat blasters and just start
Yeah,
kill him, kill the kids,
and all the people.
That was
That kind of made me
crazy.
mad too. Everyone's on the sidelines. I mean, I guess you're not a superhero, but it's like there's like, oh no, they're shooting bullets at these children. I'm like, someone do something. They're shooting bullets at the children. No, I did remember that. That's true. That did happen. But it's like they shoot at Captain America a lot. You know what I mean? Like you gonna get.
Hey,
shot
Captain
at.
America kills people too.
That's true. Yeah, he's a murderer.
He threw people off that plane. I will never forget.
He threw a dude through a propeller.
It did not happen before
Golly.
until that movie. And then I was like, wait a second, they're dead.
They're not coming back.
Was Iron Man killing people?
Yes.
He straight up only has
He's
laser
killing
beams and
people.
missiles.
He only has laser beams and
He
missiles,
killed
yeah.
a lot of people in the Middle East in that first Iron Man movie.
But they're inside of aircrafts and tanks, so it's okay. We don't
They
see
always have
them.
parachutes every single time.
They get out just before the tank explodes
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah.
Transformers used to love to do that all the time.
Yeah. But before we get to the outside bit, another reason why I think I like this episode so much, it's just like a Home Alone ass high school prankster war.
Oh man, yeah, that was the best. That was
It's
so cool.
fun. She gets like all of her friends to dress up as hoodies, and even her brother's there. And he's like, how did you get? He's like, I used to go here. I sneak in out of this school all the time. What are you talking about?
That was great.
It was a good idea.
And then even homegirl, Instagram girl Zoe's there, and They all know.
Right.
All her friends know that she's Miss Marvel at this point. She ain't keeping no secrets.
Right. She sounds the way she sounds. Her mask covers nothing. She looks like her.
Keeps taking it off.
Right. It's and people are still like, "Oh, who's that brown girl?" And it's like, y'all only know 8 of them. You've met them all. Like, come on, dude. What?
That's funny.
I don't know. She has that by a thread. If Iron Man can, I don't know. I just don't. She's putting her family in danger for no reason because she wants to be cool.
But so few
You're not
people in the
wrong.
Marvel
You're not
universe
wrong.
have secret identities, anyways. You know,
That's true.
it's just Spider-Man at this point,
Didn't she make her own Instagram and everything?
right?
Like, you know, that's on her phone plan. She probably put her phone number on there, so it probably connects directly to her phone number. So you probably go to search Discover Friends, and she's the first one that pops up as Miss Marvel. Like, come on, girl, what are you doing?
I mean, she does have a YouTube channel on that show, so yeah, wouldn't be
Oh,
surprised.
man. That's terrible.
But yeah, just like from Bruno making like the science lab explode to the softball machine and all that shit. Like I thought all that stuff was really fun and worked, and that brought back the kid vibe from the
Right.
first episode that was kind of missing throughout the whole show.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think the first and the last were definitely the highlights for sure. And
Yeah.
you're so right about the Home Alone aspect. I totally got those vibes too.
Yeah.
That was so much fun. All the crazy shenanigans they were doing.
Dang kids.
The thing that won me, I remember texting Brian. I was like, "It's over. The show won." Was when she's on the ground and she says "embiggen." I was done. It makes zero sense. And why would she say that? I don't care. She got big. She embiggen and got big. I don't care.
She embiggen.
Embiggen?
She
What?
said, to make her
What's the
hands
line?
big,
I
she
don't
said embiggen.
So in the comics, Kamala can grow to like a substantial size, like Ant-Man style. But she said typically she'll say "embiggen" and like she'll or like scream "embiggen" and she grows like she did in the show.
Oh, okay.
But it makes zero sense as to why she said it in the show.
And she did it in the show. And that is that when she like is in the suit? I don't remember exactly.
Yeah,
when
at the
that
very
happened.
end when she like kind of gets a little bigger and
She
longer
gets
arms
a
and
crazy
longer legs
avatar,
and shit.
basically.
She catches the
Right,
car
right.
at one point, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that was it.
Wow. That's funny. I totally did not even catch that.
What sold me is when Bruno said, "Maybe you're a mutant." And then the 1997 X-Men theme played for just 1 second.
Oh,
Just-
did it?
just-
Dang. I missed that too.
Yeah, I missed that at
I've been
first
watching
too.
a lot of TV with the volume very, very low since Cleo's been born, but I gotta start cranking it.
Cranky.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess she's the first mutant then. I guess confirmed. I mean, you're not gonna play that that X-Men.
Yeah, they're definitely not gonna play
You're not
that.
gonna
You're
play
a
that.
mutant, bootin', tell me what we scootin'.
Mom
bootin' nappin',
spaghetti.
babkin'.
You're not gonna play that X-Men theme if she's not actually a mutant. Like, don't tease
I
us
would
like
not
that.
be
Like
surprised. I
she's a
don't know,
mutant.
man. Like you said, they already introduced Inhumans now, so now it's really weird. They were at the
It's
point.
yeah,
Well, technically that was a different universe, right?
yeah,
True.
technically.
Yeah,
so.
true. So maybe Inhumans just only exists in the multiverse. Since multiverse is everything now.
Right. But yeah, it looks like she is a mutant, which is interesting that they chose her to be the first one. Because we know that X-Men are coming at some point.
Isn't she more of a half alien, kind of like the dude from Guardians?
I don't know. I don't know what she is. I don't know
That's a
what's
great
real and what's
question.
not.
That doesn't
Anywho.
sound like a mutant to me.
I didn't think so either.
I don't know. Oh no, because Bruno's explanation is that her brother also got
Oh.
tested because he wanted to see if he had powers and he didn't. So I guess that
Right.
so it's not in her family's blood. It's her specifically. She's a
She had
weird
a
mutant.
mutation.
She has mutated.
She's evolved.
Mutated.
And biggin.
Embiggen.
Don't make no sense, but it's okay. Yeah, I mean, and then just like the cool parallel between Kamala looking at herself in her super suit in the last episode compared to looking at herself in her homemade one. And she's in the first episode where she doesn't feel confident. She's looking at her butt and she's like,
I mean, she shouldn't feel confident. That suit was ill-fitting. She looked real dumb.
Oh.
but like, yeah, like just seeing her grow as a child and, getting the confidence to be the person she wants to be. Also, you get the famous comic book cover of her sitting on the lamppost, which is most people would recognize, which is great. Yeah. I mean, I was totally into that finale and I'm the whole family aspect. And then seeing where she's going to go from here, which post credits, she just she swapped. Not just her bodies. That I think it's confirmed that is not like her inside Captain Marvel's body. They literally swapped places.
Yeah, that's what it seems
with
like.
Captain Marvel.
I wonder what the fuck that means. I am at a loss.
Now Captain Marvel's just going to be a street level superhero.
Captain Marvel's barely doing like normal human things. She's
I
always
think she
like
just put Kamala in
on other
space.
planets. Yeah, right. That's not cool.
I think she can do normal human things. Like if she fights somebody in New York City, she's gonna blow the half of New York City apart. Are you kidding me? She can't go and fight in New Jersey. There's barely any New Jersey left as it is.
Yeah, I wonder where the hell she's gonna be. She's gonna be in the new Guardians movie.
I hope she floats in
Struggling.
space.
Struggling.
She can barely fight people with guns. You think she's gonna
She
fight
just
an
don't know what
alien? Thanos? Come on now.
Right.
Ultron?
She is not ready for Thanos.
She's gonna get her shit pushed in, man.
I'd love to see a movie of just straight that. But that's pretty important though, because isn't she gonna be in the Marvels? Isn't that like what into Phase 5 or say 6 or some shit?
Somewhere in Phase 5, we get the Marvels. Yeah, so it's gonna be Captain Marvel.
But it's like a pretty important movie, is it not?
Yeah, I mean, this is gonna be a pretty big one. I would imagine it's gonna further enhance the cosmic stuff. So you get Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, her, and then presumably Photon from WandaVision as well. So the three of them will be the Marvels.
Who's Photon?
She's
Black
the
lady.
one who got her powers in WandaVision.
Ew, right.
She got punched into alternate reality and it made her cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see the three of them doing. I don't know what, man.
Marvelous things.
I don't know how is Kamala gonna be fucking Crash Bandicooting her way across space with them little stepping stones? Like
they caught Spider-Man up real fast, so maybe they can do it with her too. I don't know what kind of training montage
Listen,
Peter Parker
she
went
needs
through.
a new mode of transportation.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let her know right now.
she got either that. She gotta get faster.
that jumping around shit. Like they make it look cool, but that has got to be exhausting.
It's like
Right.
skateboarding. It literally does not make you go any faster. Like
Not
you're just
only
working
is she
harder.
taking steps everywhere, like she's taking just the same amount of steps that she would. She's just not making any turns. She's
Yeah.
walking that whole, but she's not only is she walking, she's jumping.
She's
She's hopscotching all through the city. Like that's a lot of work.
Maybe they're gonna meet Silver Surfer at some point, and that can help her out because she needs to learn how to skate on that or something. Because that walking is not the play.
yeah,
No,
she's gonna learn.
no.
She has to like figure out how to like Iceman ski down some
Yeah.
color, some Rainbow
Yeah,
Road Mario
she
Kart
needs some
shit.
Iceman skiing for sure.
Yeah,
I'm surprised she didn't roll up at the beginning and end of those scenes where she finally gets her. She's like, oh, okay, hold on, time out. Like I just got here. I gotta catch my breath.
It's got to be way more
I
effort.
know that's
It's gotta
exhausting.
yeah.
I ran through New York City. I can only do it for a couple blocks at most.
Now imagine you have to jump
Yeah.
on platforms too. You're done for.
Right, you're
Nah,
platforming your
nah.
way through New York City.
I got 10 platforms max.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know what they're gonna do with the whole transforming or swapping places type of shit. But yeah, overall, yeah, I really like the show. We didn't really talk about the Red Dagger because he was there. He gives her a scarf.
I thought that was one of the lamest parts of the show.
Just another character that Kamala could potentially have a love interest with.
Right. That's not
She's
Bruno.
got, like,
'cause
5
Bruno
people.
takes nothing but L's.
There's a lot of people in there that she
Yeah.
could be. She didn't really choose. Did she kiss anybody?
She almost did Cameron, but
She
Did they
almost
not
kissed
kiss
him.
at all?
no, because Bruno came in and ruined it because he's a cuck. No, Bruno was taking L's the whole time. That makes me real sad. He has a very tragic story.
He
that I don't
needs to
think
just
gets
go to
talked about enough.
Caltech and meet someone nice
Honestly.
and just
And
have
he was
some
like,
fun, man.
I'm not gonna go. You need me. No, please leave, man.
You need
this
an
isn't good for
education,
you.
kid.
This isn't good for your mental health.
You
dude.
could do great things out there.
Right? And then one character we didn't talk about that I really actually liked and wish she was in it more was Nakia, her best friend.
Oh yeah.
She was great. She was dope.
Yeah, she was really great. I like that she becomes one of the leaders of the mosque. I don't remember what the title was in the show, but she wins that election.
Yeah, that was super awesome.
She was standing up to some scary people pretty often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She don't give
like,
a fuck.
girl. They can hurt
She
you,
was
please.
badass.
Yeah, I liked it. And Kamran, whatever.
He was fine. He was just pretty boy number one, honestly. And then he had
His
a sad
powers
story
by
'cause
the
his
end
mom-
looked pretty bad, and it was just I didn't understand that his mom gave him to him by just before she
Shooting.
died. You know?
Because she said his name.
Yeah, I guess.
I
Whatever.
thought she was going to possess his body.
So did I.
That would have been way cooler.
Which is why I don't. Whatever. It don't make.
I mean, maybe that was more of that Inhuman stuff, or maybe they were trying to do a different rendition of that. 'Cause she turned to stone before she, crumbled away.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they opened the portal and it was bad. The portal was bad. No,
They pierced the veil. I laughed out loud when she said that.
it just starts playing this high pitched music.
Yeah, doesn't everybody know that's like a band, like a
Right.
post-hardcore band? Like,
Tears of Venom.
They should have had a needle drop of them in there at some point.
yeah, I'm like, there's so many ways you could have worded that. Like, that's such an odd phrase to use in a movie.
I swear no one
like,
ever uses Pierce. Open the portal would have even been better. Pierce the veil is such a very specific thing to say.
Pierce the veil. Damn.
Oh yeah. Overall, the positives are the family stuff. The negative is just the villains. The villains,
Yeah.
like, once again, Marvel, just your villains are crap, man.
Just I don't know. I don't need generic story beats of angry people that are angry with you that just chase you because they hate you.
Yeah.
So you can have one scene in a car that you're running through a market. I haven't seen it before. We get
Yeah.
it. The guy's
Yeah.
tomatoes. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been fine if it was a little more grounded and just like high school drama and
Mhm.
So they got
family
too fantastical. The
feuds.
fantastical stuff wasn't fantastical. They claimed it was
Right.
fantastical, but then it was a dude with just a red scarf on his face. And I was like, well,
Yeah.
that doesn't sell it too hard. He looks like a bandit from World
Yeah.
of Warcraft. Like,
and
I don't...
a designer belt whip, right?
And that's the thing. I don't want to get rid of the cultural aspect of the show, though. But it, like, that's sadly,
For sure.
like,
The
yeah,
culture was
I don't know.
great. The family stuff was great.
Maybe you get rid of her 2 cousins that did absolutely nothing and bring her 2 friends with her instead. You know, bring the people that
Right.
I care about, not these 2 cousins that don't do jack shit for her. They're the worst cousins in the world. They're like, "Where's Kamala?" I don't know.
Didn't
Who
they
cares,
leave her?
fucker? Yes, they left
I
her in a
totally
strange
forgot about
country
them.
she's never been to for a
They're
long
like,
time.
oh yeah, the train's that way, but we're gonna go to the mall. So
Like,
bye.
it's so rude. A worse host.
Bruno would have done better.
Yeah.
Brought Bruno to Pakistan with you.
But yes, unless you guys have anything else to say, that's all I got to say about Miss Marvel.
Justice for Bruno is all I got.
Justice for Bruno.
He deserves better.
He deserves Caltech.
Or what did he call him? Justice for Brian.
Brian.
As Cameron kept calling him. What an asshole.
What a power play. God.
All right, guys. Check out Miss Marvel. Shall we now move on to our final segment of the week,
Let's
Dude.
go.
which we like to call Free for All, title pending. This is a segment, everyone, where we kind of do whatever we want. We can rant, we can nap, we can recommend something, talk about our day, life, just have a conversation. It's free for all. I can go first very quickly. I watched Netflix's The Gray Man, the
Oh,
Ryan
no.
Gosling, Chris Evans.
I keep hearing
movie.
about this. Was it good? Was it bad?
I had fun. It's not as bad as I think most people are saying. I think Chris Evans is very funny and good in it. Ryan Gosling is Ryan Gosling in it. He's very stoic. He's very quiet. He's got a dry sense of humor, which I like. I like that Ryan Gosling caricature. So it worked. I was fine with it. I didn't expect any different. But the story-wise, it's whatever. There are some action sequences that are like, these are normal human beings that should be paced right now. They should not be alive right now.
Wow.
But other than that, if you're just looking for like a fun popcorn flick that you can kind of like not fully pay attention to the whole time and, and still have a good time or whatever, it's not bad. And clearly people liked it because it's already getting like sequels and spin-offs or whatever, some
Wow.
shit. I don't know.
The audience
But-
score is super high for this movie. The critic
Yeah,
score
yeah.
is very low.
It's yeah.
I was told to avoid this movie like the plague, so I took it off my list and didn't even think a second.
I
think
never
about it.
saw that Rock movie on Netflix, but I can't imagine it's worse than that.
That's fair.
Huh.
That movie looked bad.
I recently watched the God, what is this movie? It's Kevin Hart movie, but it's basically stolen from another movie where the unintentional person becomes a super spy. It is
Oh,
atrocious. That movie is an atrocity. And I don't know how much money they spent on that, but that's what's going to tank Netflix right there is that movie.
Oh,
Right.
there's a lot of really bad action comedies out there.
They are terrible at making movies. Netflix is so bad at making movies. Like, I don't
I
even
don't know.
know how else to put it.
One thing I will say about the movie is, and this is just for like all movies at this point, I'm already sick of the drone shots in
Yeah.
everything now.
that's fair.
Because you can, it's like when you have like a GoPro shot in a movie. It's like you can just tell, and
Yeah.
it just completely takes me out of the movie when I see a big GoPro shot or a drone shot of in an action sequence. I'm like, it's cool, and you guys are using new technology, but I was like,
Right.
I don't like it.
It feels like cheating at this point. It's so much easier than what we used to have to do.
I was like, get someone up there. I don't fly him in. I don't care.
Get the helicopter.
Okay, so maybe still went back in it. Maybe if I'm really bored, I'll watch it one day.
Yeah, I would. Yeah,
Potentially with some substances that will make it a little bit easier to get through. But
yeah.
I love that you hate drone shots. I think that's hilarious.
'cause I feel like
I don't
everyone's
know
like
why.
super into drone
As
shots. Everyone,
soon
like,
as I
loves
saw,
them.
I was like, no, I'm sick of this shit.
Is it the picture quality or like the aesthetic?
I think it's just the aesthetic because I mean, they're all used in the exact same way, and I think I'm already kind of sick of it. It's just one big swooping shot, then it spins drastically to catch the others. I'm like, I get it, it's cool, but I think
Mhm.
to be fair, I also saw that that ambulance movie that Michael Bay directed,
Right.
and it's nothing but drone shots
Yep.
in that movie. It's like
Interesting.
98% drone shots, and I was like, I get it, Michael Bay.
You
You
know,
like
Michael
the
Bay,
drone.
as soon as he saw drones, he was like, "Yes, this is perfect
Yes,
for me."
yeah. So maybe that movie killed it for me. To be fair, though.
Yeah. That's
I
hilarious.
do think that the movement can get a little janky just because of the way drones are, the way they exist.
Yeah.
They don't feel natural in the way that they sweep and
It's
stuff.
like a little uncanny valley for a camera shot.
Yeah.
I've seen there's this hilarious, like slightly older YouTube video of a a drone videographer doing a wedding, but it's like for the whole wedding video. I'm pretty sure it's a
Oh
joke.
shit.
It's definitely not serious. Like it's like a spoof. That's a satire, but it's like the drone is inside and it's like blowing everybody's hair
I
all
want
over
to say
the
this
place,
loud
and
ass drone.
the dress, and you can't hear anything because it's so loud. I'm gonna try and send that to you. I gotta find it.
That's me.
Oh, that's funny.
That's me with the drone.
But yeah, so it's not a bad movie though. I think it's fine. It's whatever.
Cool, cool.
Nice.
I can actually go next. I did something as well, or I did this like I guess a couple weeks ago at this point. I played a game that might be up for game of the year this year. I
A
played
word?
Ooh.
Stray. For people that don't know Stray, if you live
Meow.
under a
Ooh.
rock, because Stray is everywhere at this point. It is a game about being a cat. The end. No notes. Game over. No, it's actually a game about being a cat. That's very interesting because you thought like the marketing for this game was very weird because it never actually showed you what this game was about. I've been following
Right.
this game for years at this point, and I always saw like the same little footage of like a cat just walking up the scaffolding or something, or walking on the ground in like this very Tokyo, like alleyway kind of situation going on there. Didn't know anything else about it. This game is beautiful. Um, I'm not gonna spoil it for anyone that is interested in playing, but it is a game about like love and loss and hope and fortune
Oh,
and post-apocalypse and
wow.
very interesting like notes in this game that I didn't expect at all, to the point where when I finished the game, I was damn near in tears because of just how
Damn.
nice it felt. Like some of the shots that they have in it, was just it felt so good. And they really like they could have made like a very lackluster game where it's just like you run around as a cat, the end. But they actually
Mm.
captured what it feels like to be a cat so well, to the point where I can like if you see a rug or something, you can just start scratching on it. You can hide in boxes. You can get a bag stuck on your head.
Oh,
Just like
wow.
stupid stuff like
Brian
that.
just made me laugh because Brian, you just did a thing that most reviewers do for like a superhero game. Where it's like they really captured to
What it
how you
feels like to
feel to
be
be
Spider
Spider-Man,
Man. Yeah.
but for a
To be a
cat.
And that
cat.
sounds a lame thing to say, but it's really true though, because it easily could have just been like the most average platformer where you're just a cat, and being a cat doesn't
Yeah,
actually
yeah, yeah.
matter, but you just press the jump button to cat. There's a meow button in this game.
A meow
One of
button.
my favorite
That's
parts
Which,
about
nice.
this
yeah.
game, about there being a meow button, is most of the cutscenes are in engine, so the game still exists. Like it's not like
So
pre-rendered
you
or
can
anything.
just
You
meow the
can
whole
meow at any
time.
point in the cutscene. So literally, I actually recorded myself playing the entire game, and whenever a cutscene pops up, it's just me spamming meow the entire time like an annoying piece of shit. The character's like trying to talk
Oh,
to me and
that's
stuff, and I'm
great.
just meow 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 meow
That's
meow
so good.
meow meow. No, but this
Oh, it's
game
funny.
is amazing.
Wait. Do you
Yeah.
get to name your kitty?
You do not get to name your kitty. You also don't get to pick the
Ah,
Oh,
kind of kitty you got. I think they really missed the opportunity there, or I would have 100% played as Jade, no question.
oh
right,
But no, it
man.
right.
is still a way more powerful game than I expected, and I would highly recommend as someone that just
Yeah, I've only heard
Wow.
good things.
yeah.
The
That's
only thing
awesome.
I've also heard about it is that, or would it be as good if you weren't a cat? Like if you were a dude?
Oh, if I was a dude, it'd be terrible. That'd be such a
Right. Okay.
lame ass game. No, putting the cat in it is what gives it kind of its charm, because so much of what
Right.
happens and the way things interact and the way you interact with things is about you
Interesting.
being a cat. I think
Wow.
even if you were a
Right.
different
Okay.
animal, I don't know that it would have worked as well.
Hmm.
If you were like a
Interesting.
dog or something, which
Right.
someone could definitely try that. I'll play that game as well. Don't worry. But
Nice. Yeah, I wanna check this
yeah,
game out.
Wow.
it was a powerful game. I 100%ed it. It's super easy to 100%. I think it took me like 10 hours total.
Yeah,
Every
that's right up
moment
my alley.
that I had with that game, I was into.
That's amazing.
Nice.
I'm gonna check it out. Well, I did not play a video game, but I watched a movie recently, and it's a movie that I'm sure you guys definitely saw, but I wonder when the last time it was.
Ooh.
And that movie is on Disney Plus, and it's called, what is it called? Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off.
What?
A Disney Channel original classic smash hit from, I don't know when this movie came out. Early 2000s, probably?
Or like 2004 or some
Yeah.
shit.
It's gotta
Yeah.
be around that time.
Eddie, whatever his last name is a superstar baseball player in the Little League with his dad. And all he wants to do is be like the best cook he can be. But all of his friends, for some fucking reason, think that only girls can cook. And if he's cooking, then he's a girl and lame and not cool
That
and a
sounds
loser.
2004 for you.
It's
Right.
very, very cringe, very awful. But I mean, the whole message is how you shouldn't be afraid to be yourself. And Disney always makes the point eventually, but it's like the whole time getting there, it's just like, damn it, these fucking kids suck. This dad sucks. Like, just let him fucking cook if he
I
wants to
do
cook.
remember his dad being notoriously toxic.
Yeah,
the
no, that
dad
man was
was
a villain.
terrible. He was terrible. He made my blood boil.
He was a worse villain than anything that was in Miss Marvel, that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh my God. It was very interesting to rewatch. Now with, I mean, it could be an allegory for a lot of things that are happening nowadays. Whether it's cooking or your sexuality or your gender.
Oh yeah, I remember he wanted to cook because he saw Bobby Flay. He saw Bobby Flay on TV.
He just got inspired, and there's this competition where I don't know what you win, but it's called $1 Million cook-off.
I'm about to say $1 million.
So I'm like, $1 million is cool no matter like what. Well,
right.
almost no matter what you're doing. Like $1 million is always going to be cool.
Listen, you can get okay with cooking if I make $1 million from it. Maybe not be gender rolled about it when it has to do with $1 million.
Especially if it's cooking. Like cooking is, everybody likes to eat. Like
everyone has to eat. Like,
right.
Imagine not
It's
cooking,
food.
you weirdo.
What are you going to have cereal every day, all day long?
Some
just
people
a
do.
bowl of cereal and an apple.
That's actually funny because that's actually one of the that's Orlando Brown's in that movie.
Yep.
I've
Is
not
he
seen
really?
a movie with Orlando Brown in it in a long time.
Yeah, homeboy fell off.
I did watch the interview with him recently.
Oh yeah, that's another story though.
It's as bad as he thought it would be.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, no. Let's not get
Anyway,
into that one.
Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off still hits. Still a great movie.
I've never even thought about that movie since probably the first
yeah,
time I watched
I
it.
think that one was when I was starting to float off the Disney Channel original movies. So that one wasn't one of my faves.
It's time to jump back in there, dude.
Maybe I should.
Just look out for that awful dad and
yeah.
try to avoid not punching your TV screen.
Okay.
Right.
But it's great. And everybody gets there in the end, of course. It has to have a happy ending and a great message. But getting there was like, oh my God, I'm going to punch these people.
Did Eddie win? Or is it one of those ones where like Eddie gets second place and then it's just like, I'm just happy I was involved?
Yeah. Spoiler alert. He does not win. He gets, I don't even think they have second or third place. There's just a winner. And then they say, thanks for coming.
He just gets trashed.
The rest of you are
he gets
losers.
like 18th place.
Yeah,
just
they
awful.
they all just didn't lose. But in the end, all of his friends and his dad come to accept him as a cook, which, like, what? But then they all come and are cheering for him, and the baseball team won their game without Eddie, which is cool because usually they always had to rely on Eddie to win the games, and they're like, we did it on our own.
Right.
But he's happy for them, and he's happy that he has support, and it doesn't matter if he won $1 million or not, apparently, because he's a winner in his own right. Brian.
Fun fact: the budget of this movie is only $500,000, even though it's a movie about
Wow.
$1 million cookout.
You know what? I can believe that. I saw some of the things. Like it was a good movie. Don't get me wrong. There's like some cables, that are laid in some of the shots, like during the competition thing or whatever.
Mhm.
They're doing like these grand shots and they're showing the
Oh yeah.
the
yeah.
cooking tables and whatnot. And for whatever reason, they have like power cables connecting all the stations or whatever. If it were like $1 million movie, they would have like drilled holes in the floor to hide the cable run or whatever, but they just taped over it. But they did such a bad job with taping over it. Like it just looks like it looked like shit. Like, I mean, like I do this all the time when you're taping things, whether it's on camera or off camera, you try to do it a little bit neat, especially if it's on camera. And they went as far as to get like the same color tape. It's like a gold tape that matches the gold floor. But man, it was wrinkly and crumbly and it didn't cover the whole cable all the time. And it's just like going in zigzags.
They said, we got 1 week, bro. We got to do this quick.
I'm seeing this now for the first time in 1080p, and this looks like shit, guys. Somebody really fucked up that tape.
Oh, no. The interns.
It's
We
like a
gotta.
parallel to the conversation we were having before about how like CGI doesn't look good in like high def, but this is a practical thing that doesn't look good.
It turns out tape looks bad in high def too.
You gotta get your tape. You gotta get your tape nice and clean. Clean lines, guys. Let me tell you.
Oh, that's funny. Nice. Very nice. Well, that is our show, everyone. You can email us at thefortressof@gmail.com. Fortress spelled Four. Feel free to email us any questions or feedback or recommendations or anything like that. Also follow us on Twitter and Instagram and the YouTube channel at The Fortress of. And yeah, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your grandma, tell your cat. You know, rate us wherever. 5 stars preferably.
5-star.
You know?
We love you.
Do the thing. Do the thing. Thank you, Brian, for the art. Thank you, Alex, for the music.
Yo.
Devin, thank you for being here as usual.
Even when he's not here, he's still with us.
In our hearts.
In our hearts and souls. And Jackie, thank you for helping edit the podcast every week. You can find Brian on Instagram at least at ITZ_ by the way. Alex at Peterson Films. Peterson spelled SEN. And Devin, he doesn't get an Instagram when he's not here, even though he doesn't get one when he is here anyways. But, you know.
He's not even on the grams.
Not even there.
You can find him on Snapchat somewhere.
Sometimes.
Somewhere.
Once every 6 months.
Type in Devin and put some 7s and 3s because he likes those. Maybe you'll find them. All right. That is the show, everyone. Next week, I don't know. Maybe Nope. Maybe not that. Maybe Nope to Nope. I don't know.
Nope
Find out.
or Nope to Nope.
Yep.
Yep. Dope.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Happy holidays, everyone. And put a code on. It's cold out there.
Keep them shorts on though. That's all I got.
Gotta keep the shorts.
Thanks, Brian.
Sorry, I was thinking about Nope,
All right,
and that
everyone.
made me sad. Anywho.
We'll see you here next week in another episode of The Fortress of.
Meow 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 meow.